Today I tell you why the Yankees will yet again fall short of making a World Series. I explain the gap between the Dodgers and the rest of the National League. I make my World Series picks and we compare basketball and baseball. I'm Nathan Gustafson, and this is Clutch Time. So I wanted to start the show off today making this imperative point. Even as the MLB transitions toward a more power game, obviously the new balls, we've heard a lot of things about them being manipulated with to increase home run totals. There's a lot of evidence to back that up. But what I want to say is even as that offensive spike has happened, starting pitching remains an absolute constant in order for teams to have postseason success and actually bring home a World Series title. So I wanted to start today's show off by going over the last 3 championship starting rotations and see what those look like. So for the 2016 Cubs, they had prime Jake Arrieta, who was fresh off a Cy Young Award, Jon Lester, a proven postseason great, and Kyle Hendricks, who was also phenomenal that year. Then you go to the World Series champion Astros, who beat the Dodgers in 2017. They had Justin Verlander, Dallas Keuchel, Francisco Liriano, and Lance McCullers. Also an excellent pitching rotation. And then for last year's Red Sox that were World Series champions, Chris Sale, David Price, Rick Porcello, as well as Drew Pomeranz and Eduardo Rodriguez. So you see that the last few titles, even as offensive totals have increased, even as power hitting has become more prevalent, it matters more than ever to have consistent starting pitching to win a World Series championship. Now, in the American League this year, the Yankees obviously are considered a favorite. Their offensive powerhouse of a lineup has gotten a lot of attention. But I wanted to look at their starting rotation and compare it to the Astros, and you can see just how big the gap is. So we'll start off with the Yankees. They have Tanaka. Severino should be back by the time the postseason rolls around. They have James Paxton, J. Happ, Domingo Germán, and CC Sabathia in his grandpa state. And that starting rotation, if you look at the champions of the last few years, it simply doesn't line up. And if you look at what the Astros are coming in this year, it's really hard to see the Yankees beating the Astros, even with their stellar power hitting lineup. When you have Justin Verlander, Garrett Cole, Zach Greinke, Aaron Sanchez, and Lance McCullers all in the same rotation, beating the Astros is going to be it would be an incredible feat if the Yankees were to pull it off. With the severe gap in starting pitching between the two teams. So as of right now, my American League pick by a mile would be the Astros. Certainly, the Yankees and Twins have both proven themselves to be formidable opponents this year, but looking at the Astros starting 5, it's extremely difficult for me to see them being taken down. So moving on to the National League, I wanted to emphasize just how big the gap is between the Dodgers and the rest of the National League. So let's just run through some numbers of what the Dodgers lead baseball in. They lead the National League in. So wins, first and foremost. How about run differential? The Dodgers' run differential is plus 180 runs this season, which is incredible. The next best is Chicago at 77 runs positive, which is a full 103 runs less. That's the gap between first and second. Their team ERA is also the best in baseball at 3.37. The next best, also the Cubs, at 3.97. They lead the league in batting average against, runs scored, home runs, and on-base percentage. For one team to lead both offensive and defensive stats by such a wide margin just truly shows the dominant force that the Dodgers are going into the postseason. And I would certainly have to pick them to make the World Series because of the talent differential between them and the rest of the National League. Now, the one thing I will say is if one team can beat them, I would certainly bet on the Cubs because of the trio of Yu Darvish, Jose Quintana, and Jon Lester. Those 3, if there's any pitchers that can stack up against the Dodgers, go up against Kershaw, Ryu, and Walker Buehler and have a serious chance of taking a series, it's definitely the Cubs. I think the Braves are still a little bit young and a little bit too reliant on their offense to win in the postseason, and none of the wildcard teams really stand out to me. I suppose the Nationals would have a chance because of the duo of Scherzer and Strasburg. An incredible pitching duo can go a long way. You saw that in 2014, where actually one pitcher can make a difference when the Giants won the World Series behind Madison Bumgarner. It would take that level of a feat from Scherzer, though, to what Bumgarner did if the Nationals were to claim a wild card and then topple the Dodgers. It would take something of that extent. Now, I'm picking the favorites in the Astros and Dodgers to go to the World Series simply because of how overpowering and the discrepancy in talent there is between them and other teams. But what's important to remember about baseball is it's not like basketball, okay? In the NBA the last few years, we saw when Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, and Klay were all on the same team, they were going to win. The only thing that could stop them was injury, and that happened this past year, and that was probably the only reason they lost. Okay, with Kevin Durant, I think they probably would have taken care of the Raptors, won their third consecutive title. In basketball, if you have a team with far superior talent, there's almost a guarantee of victory. It's cool because baseball's not like that, and that's why October is so much fun. Even though the Dodgers and Astros might have pitching and offense that's superior to the rest of their leagues, it seems like I would certainly believe that they would be playing each other in the World Series. But a couple great arms and a few hot bats can change everything, and that's what makes playoff baseball so exciting. Because really, any team can win, and anything can happen. Alright, that's going to be it from us today. Make sure you tune into our next episode where I make quarterback tiers going into the 2019-2020 NFL season. Thanks for watching.